Well, hello there, dear audience. On today's video, we're going to talk about what if the city of Constantinople fell to the Islamic Caliphate during the siege of 717 AD. And we're gonna see the changes that are going to happen throughout the scenario due to that tiny change. And also, if you're wondering, Constantinople is the modern day city of Istanbul. So, in real life, the siege failed basically because Bulgaria intervened against the Muslims. Okay, why did the Bulgarians interfere against the Muslims? Well, the reason why was because the king of Bulgaria previously declared war on the Roman Empire and tried to take some of their territories. And basically, what happened was that they signed a peace treaty. Basically, the Romans have to give him tribute for him not invading them. But if they lost Constantinople, the center and capital of their empire, they would probably not have enough money to pay him, so he decided to help them out so they can keep paying him tribute. So this is how the first change is going to appear. The Muslims are gonna make a secret deal with Bulgaria, telling them, well, you can backstab your ally, the Roman Empire, declare war on them, and take their territory, some territories of theirs, and we will pay you tribute on their behalf. They will accept this treaty because they will get to conquer some Roman lands, and they get to have the tribute. So they're kind of losing nothing by accepting it. Okay, so when the Bulgarians betray Rome and invade them, they're gonna start first thing by cutting off the seas of Constantinople from the rest of Rome, so they can make sure that they cannot break the seas. That will be a pretty important step. That would lead to them getting cut off from Roman supply, meaning that a lot of them will probably surrender and would lose the will to fight due to the fact that they also don't have a lot of food. A lot of them will probably escape to the Muslim side so they can surrender to them, because they might be afraid of what will happen if they got captured by the Bulgarians instead. Eventually, Muslim forces will be able to capture Constantinople and claim it for themselves. As the news of the fall of the capital of the Roman Empire spreads to the Anatolian part of it, the general leading the army there is going to secede from the Roman Empire, and he's gonna call the new nation he created the Greek kingdom. The reason why he will do that is because he's afraid that if he stayed a part of the Roman Empire, the Muslims will invade him, seeing him as an enemy. So he will simply secede since there are no Muslim armies invading him. And when the news of the fall of Constantinople reaches the rest of the Roman Empire, otherwise known as Greece, basically, they're gonna retreat to the river Strima, so they make sure that Bulgaria cannot easily conquer them. And they're gonna change the capital to the city of Athens, since it was the second largest city at the time. And then the Islamic Caliphate is going to spend the next 2 years defeating Roman elements in the Anatolian Peninsula, so they can make sure that they have full control of it. The reason why they will take so long is because their army rely on horses, and horses are garbage in mountains. So anyways, the Roman Empire is gonna sign a peace treaty with the Islamic Caliphate. And during that period of time, the Islamic Caliphate is gonna try to stabilize their holdings. And they're going to go to the Greek kingdom and tell them to pay them tribute so they don't invade them. Basically to stabilize their holdings. And the Canonicos family is gonna exit Constantinople and go to the city of Athens so they can continue creating Greek fire to Christians instead of Muslims. The kingdom of the Lombards are going to see that the Romans are pretty weak, and they're going to take advantage of that by trying to invade their Italian holdings. But the kingdom of Francia is going to intervene in the war to make sure that the Vatican City does not fall, or the Papal States I should say, because they're gonna become the Papal States. Basically the reason why is because they're the center of the Catholic world, and them falling will be a pretty big blow to their religion and prestige, and it will be considered unacceptable. So they're gonna intervene, and then they're gonna put the papacy under their protection to make sure that they don't get invaded again. Now we can start talking about the Islamic occupation of Anatolia and Constantinople, or we can just say the Islamic occupation of Rome. So, when the Islamic Caliphate enters a new territory, they always keep the local elite or the local majority in charge. Like in North Africa, they kept the Emirs. In Persia, they kept the Persians, of course. The same thing will happen in this scenario. Of course, they will also convert them to Islam, like they always do. Like they're gonna start converting the elites to Islam. And they're gonna mainly focus on the elites because they're more important than the others. So, when the Islamic Caliphate enters a new part of the world, like cities, when they enter the city, they always build a military base in the central part of it, and then surround it with marketplaces, so that military base becomes sort of the center of the economy of that city. So, in case of any revolt, the army will be able to control the important parts and not let the rebellion take over the rest of the city. The same thing will happen here since Rome is highly unpopulated in their city. For example, Constantinople used to have 500,000 people and its peak population, and now it only has 300,000, meaning that they have plenty of empty space that they can build a military base on. But sadly for Constantinople, the city of Bursa is gonna take over its place as the regional capital. The main reason why is because the Islamic Caliphate recognizes that if the Bulgars betrayed the Romans, they would probably betray them too when the time becomes convenient for it. So they would make the capital Bursa since it's defensively better, it's much more easier to defend, and it's kind of the only important thing that you care about. Defense, it's pretty mountainous. It also has access to the sea, making it perfect. And you don't have to travel across the ocean to access it. And the Islamic Caliphate would most likely succeed at turning the Roman territory they control to Islam. The reason why was basically because if you wanna get any important job, you have to be Muslim. And also, Bulgaria will most likely convert to Islam. Why? Well, in real life, they converted to Eastern Orthodoxy from the Byzantines. But now the Byzantines don't exist, they're now Muslims. So most likely they will become Muslims, and also the other reason is because at the time the Islamic world was basically seen as the technologically advanced one. You know, they have Constantinople, they have all the important cities in the scientific centers. But sadly for the Umayyad Caliphate, the Abbasid Caliphate is gonna revolt against them and take over their empire. The existence of the Roman territory, who is Greek, is gonna most likely lead to their collapse being faster, since the Abbasids wanted to reform the empire and allow non-Arabs to rule with them. And other nations are gonna try to take advantage of the current civil war, like the Greek kingdom and the Roman Empire and Bulgaria. So the Islamic Caliphate is gonna move their army against the kingdom of the Greeks. So the Muslim armies are gonna re-establish the tribute, and they're going to take some coastal territory in Armenia, so they can make sure that the Greeks will not betray them ever again. And they're gonna replace the ruler with a Muslim one, since he is less likely to betray them when he's Muslim. And afterwards, the Islamic armies are gonna move over to fight the Romans and kick them out of Anatolia. But sadly, afterwards, for them, they're gonna be too exhausted to kick Bulgarians out of Anatolia or to navally invade Rome and get rid of them. So they're gonna stay independent. The Bulgarians, seeing that the Roman army just got defeated, meaning that basically their territories are defended, they're going to invade the Greek part, only leaving Crimea, the island of Crimea in Ukraine, meaning that the Roman Empire will simply be exiled there. Now, there are gonna be a lot of people, especially rich people, who are going to immigrate to the island of Crimea so they can still get ruled over by Christians, because the Roman Empire still exists in it. But sadly, they don't control the entire island, meaning that it has a lot to go through, but you can expect it to slowly become wealthier due to its Roman immigrants. So now we leave the scenario with a lot of questions, like, would Bulgaria take over the place of the Roman Empire and be its successor, sort of, by conquering most of its territory? Or were the remnants of Crimea managed to reform it? Well, that's not enough time for it, so goodbye.